In hindsight, the 2012 Oklahoma City Thunder was one of the most talented groups in NBA history. Who could have predicted that in the next few years, 3 players from this team would be the most valuable player in the league? Let's look back at how it all happened. The 2006-2007 Seattle Supersonics went 31-51 and missed the playoffs for the second year in a row. With one of the worst records in the league, the Sonics obtained the second overall pick through the draft lottery. And ready to enter a rebuild, the Sonics also parted ways with their best player, Ray Allen, sending him to Boston, and in return, received a package that included the 5th overall pick in that same draft. That year, in the 2007 NBA draft, Seattle selected Kevin Durant and Jeff Green. Kevin Durant showed superstar potential from the beginning, winning Rookie of the Year after a season averaging over 20 points per game. But with a rookie as the best player on the team, the Sonics were really bad and won just 20 games that season. That summer, in the 2008 draft lottery, Seattle was projected to win the 2nd overall pick, but they fell to number 4. The Sonics also acquired the 24th pick from the Phoenix Suns. And with those 2 draft picks, they selected UCLA guard Russell Westbrook and big man Serge Ibaka, who would join the team later with 1 year remaining on his contract in Spain. Following that draft, the Seattle Sonics relocated to Oklahoma City, rebranding the team as the Thunder. While the Thunder struggled in the 2008-2009 season, their young core showed flashes of potential. That season, Durant averaged 25.3 points per game, with Jeff Green and Russell Westbrook contributing over 15 points per game each. But the Thunder finished with a 24-58 regular season record, and again looked to the offseason to improve their roster. In the 2009 NBA draft, the Thunder selected Arizona State guard James Harden with the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Harden started 0 games in his rookie year, but assumed his role as the Thunder's 6th man. That season was a huge improvement in Oklahoma City. The team won 50 games in the regular season. Their 21-year-old star Kevin Durant finished 2nd in the MVP race after per-game averages of 30.1 points and 7.6 rebounds. That year, and in the years to come, the Western Conference was full of talented teams. It featured groups like the Kobe and Powell Lakers, who were on their way to win a championship, the Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd-led Mavericks, the Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire-led Suns, the prime Carmelo Anthony-led Nuggets, and of course the powerhouse San Antonio Spurs. The Thunder's 50-32 record that year was enough to just sneak into the playoffs as the 8th seed. In the playoffs, they were competitive, but the team was still developing their identity. In the first round, they lost in 6 games to the soon-to-be NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers. Following the playoffs, OKC signed Durant to a 4-year, $89 million extension. In the next season, the Thunder were again a first-round playoff exit, but in the regular season they showed signs of maturity and development. They improved their record to 55-27, finishing as the 4th seed in the West, and both Durant and Westbrook were named to all NBA teams. And with their 2nd consecutive playoff appearance, the future was looking as bright as ever for the franchise. The 2011-2012 NBA season started in a lockout, delaying the beginning of the season until December. And in January, the team signed Westbrook to a 5-year, $78.6 million extension. In that shortened season, the Thunder improved their win percentage from the years prior. They finished the season going 47-19, capturing the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. Kevin Durant had a great season and finished 2nd in the MVP race, and Serge Ibaka was developing into the team's defensive leader. He finished as the runner-up in the Defensive Player of the Year award after a season averaging 3.7 blocks per game. And James Harden, coming off the bench, proved to be one of the team's most important players. That season, he put up good numbers on great efficiency and was named the 2012 Sixth Man of the Year. In the postseason that followed, the Thunder were electric. They swept the reigning champion Dallas Mavericks in the first round, then dismantled the Lakers after a 4-1 series in the second round. And in the Western Conference Finals, they faced the number 1 seed Spurs. San Antonio started the series strong and won their first 2 home games, but the Thunder responded by winning 4 consecutive games, taking the series and advancing to the NBA Finals. That year, the Miami Heat were clearly the better team and became champions after 5 games, but the Thunder had a lot to look forward to. In the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, they posted a 12-3 record, and their big three played extremely well together. Not to mention, the Thunder were young. At the start of the season, Durant and Westbrook were both 23 years old, and Harden and Ibaka were both 22. Certainly, this young team had arrived and were here to stay. But soon would be the beginning of the end for this version of the Oklahoma City Thunder. A couple months after the NBA Finals, Serge Ibaka signed a 4-year, $49.4 million extension with the team. OKC looked like they were taking the steps to lock in their young core, but unexpectedly, Harden and the Thunder were unable to make a deal. It was later revealed that Harden was looking to receive the max rookie extension, being 4 years for $60 million. So what did the Thunder offer? 4 years, $55.5 million. Just $4.5 million less than the deal the Beard coveted. But in OKC's defense, they were paying significant money to Durant, Westbrook, and Ibaka, and another combined $14 million between Kendrick Perkins and Nick Collison. It made it impossible for the Thunder to pay Harden the money he desired and stay under the luxury tax. Not to mention, that kind of money would have been the most in NBA history paid to a sixth man. But knowing the star that James Harden became, maybe the penalties for going over the luxury tax would have been worth it. 3 days before the 2012-2013 NBA season began, the Oklahoma City Thunder traded their sixth man to the Houston Rockets, and 4 days later, on the day of their season opener, the Rockets and James Harden agreed to a 5-year, $78.8 million extension. That same day, Harden made his debut as a starter and as a Rocket, and he did not disappoint. In a comeback victory against the Pistons, Harden led Houston with 37 points on 56% shooting, and he dished out 12 assists. And very quickly, the former sixth man became a superstar in the league. It's easy to look back and criticize the Thunder's decision to trade Harden, but could they have known that he would become a perennial MVP contender for years to come? Maybe. In the 2011-12 NBA season, the Thunder had a team with 3 elite-level scorers. That season, Durant averaged 28 points per game on 38.6 minutes per game. Westbrook improved his scoring figures for the 4th consecutive year and finished the season averaging 23.6 points per game on 35.3 minutes per game. And in Harden's final season in OKC, his per-game averages were 16.8 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. What makes those Harden numbers impressive is that Harden accomplished those averages on just 31 minutes per game as the third scoring option for the Thunder. But let's put his performance that year further into context. When Durant and Westbrook were out and Harden was the clear number 1 option, the sixth man recorded a staggering 32.6 points per 36 minutes, and he did it on 53% shooting. Looking back, it's hard to know for certain how the Durant-Westbrook-Harden combination would have worked out long term, but in their 3 years together, they made the playoffs each year and made one NBA Finals. With each player in their early 20s, it's hard to believe that they wouldn't have had success with a few more years together. In the seasons that followed that trade, both teams and all 3 players had some success. Kevin Durant was named the 2013-2014 MVP, and the Thunder made it to the Western Conference Finals. Harden made it to the Conference Finals the next year in the 2015 playoffs. But in both of those years, neither team was able to make it past that point. Durant, of course, would end up leaving the Thunder following the 2016 playoffs for the Golden State Warriors, where he would win 2 championships. In the 7 years that followed the Harden to the Rockets trade, Durant, Westbrook, and Harden accumulated 3 MVPs and placed in the top 5 of MVP voting a joint 12 times. In that same span of time, the 3 also combined for 19 All-NBA team appearances. The Thunder combination of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden is truly one of the greatest what-ifs in NBA history. The Thunder obtained the 3 future Hall of Famers through the draft and had the potential to build a homegrown Big Three that could have been in a conversation with the Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green trio, or the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili tandem. Since that James Harden trade, the 3 former Oklahoma City Thunder players have had exciting and even controversial careers. And Harden and Durant even reunited for a short stint as a part of another what-if Big Three that didn't pan out. Do you think the Thunder could have won a championship if they prioritized keeping their three young stars together? The success the three had on an individual level makes a convincing argument. How do you think that the decision would have changed Durant, Westbrook, and Harden's legacies? And what's the greatest what-if you've seen in NBA history? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe. Thanks for watching Basketball Pantheon.